My estranged family revealed that my loving, family-oriented dad was a monster. And this is coming from the subreddit True Off My Chest. So they're not looking for advice or anything, just kind of like getting stuff out there. So this is last but not least, guys. This is a doozy. Growing up, my friends would always say that my brother and me had the coolest parents. They were the laid back but still involved mom and dad parents. I was especially close to my dad and thought he was the best dad ever. But he made a Hot Wheels dollhouse by hand for my birthday, to give you an example. When I wanted to be a Supergirl, my mom hand sewed me a costume for Halloween. My parents are a physically affectionate couple too, and my brother and I thought it was gross when we were kids, but now we realize that being in your 40s and still in love is a miracle. My parents are immigrants, and because of that, we were never really close to their families who lived in their home country. But recently, my brother and I got in touch with some cousins on my mom's side on our own and got to know them. They were awesome and really chill. My aunts and uncles and grandparents were a little stiff, but they were nice. They only wanted to hear about what us and our mom were up to, and not my dad. So I kind of got frustrated and kept mentioning my dad. Finally, my cousin said if we didn't stop talking about our dad, our parents wouldn't let them talk to us anymore. None of our cousins knew what was going on either, or why they hated our dad so much, so they all started asking around and digging into family stuff. I thought it was going to be something stupid like class differences or my grandparents not approving of my dad for some reason, but we found out the truth, and it was a lot worse than what we imagined. My cousins found a single short newspaper article from a digital archive about it. When my dad was young, he kidnapped a university student and kept her for a bit. He was a minor, so he didn't get named or get real punishment or like anything on his record. I can't look at my dad the same way again, or my mom. Why would my mom marry someone who literally kidnapped and hurt a person? My parents have noticed something off with us, but I don't even know how to bring it up.
Oh my God.
We have an update.
Oh my God. I have so many feelings that I just don't know what I would do. This is like my worst fear, because my dad is amazing and everyone always tells me how like kind of a dad he is. And so I'm always like, what if one day I just find out that he has like another family? It's like my worst fear. It's like unlocking a trauma.
Oh my God. And it's like finding out your parent, like kidnapping, murdering. I mean,
did he murder?
No, but he kidnapped.
Okay.
But I'm like still like
kidnapping is still bad.
It
but
seems
I was like murder?
It seems like the gateway to murder. Kidnapping is like the gateway to murder. It's like what all these people start off doing. Like I listen to Crime Junkies. It's like
so do I.
They kidnapped and then let that one go after they raped. God, this story's getting dark.
Yeah.
But like you hear that and it's like, oh, and then it just keeps escalating.
Yeah. Well,
like kidnapping's the gateway to murder.
I don't know if that's true, but I would think you're right. I don't know.
I'm going to Google it.
Probably. You don't hear of a lot of people just kidnapping and then like releasing, because for obvious reasons, it doesn't work that well.
There's nothing on if kidnapping's the gateway to murder.
You might. I'm not saying like you're wrong.
I just listen to too much crime.
Did they say that?
No, I have no idea. I'm drawing conclusions in my own head. I'm doing the math.
I mean, if you think about it, I'm going to try to help you here with this logic. If you think about it, helped? If you think about it, it makes sense, because what other alternative is there? What other alternative is there? If
you let them go, you get caught.
Exactly, and you're done for. So you either keep them around forever in your basement, or you got to get rid of the witness. So I can see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm also reading this off of like the best of Reddit updates. So there's a relevant comment from the original poster that basically says, it's okay if you don't believe me. It's kind of an unbelievable, horrible thing to happen. So my cousins know more about this stuff than me or my brother, since they actually speak the language and talk to my aunts and uncles about it. One of my aunts made a few kind of vague statements about what happened, like him being bad as a teen, and my cousin searched for what she talked about, and they found the article and asked her about it, and she basically confirmed. I don't know why he did what he did. The article was really short, only a few lines in their native language. It just said he kidnapped a university student and kept her, basically.
I just need more. I need to know more. How old was he?
Yeah.
What happened to the university student?
The victim was a student at a university, so she had to be at least 19 or 20 from what my cousin said.
But he was a minor.
So she was a woman, not like a girl. I don't know what to think. My cousins don't know much more than me since the older generation has kept it hush-hush. Update.
Okay.
So I tried to bring it up to my dad, but I couldn't. It would really hurt to accuse him of being a monster if he had literally done nothing wrong, because it meant that I actually thought he could be capable of doing something like this. So I decided to talk to my mom first. I told my mom everything, and she kind of started to justify it, saying that my dad was young, stupid, was in love, and was mentally all over the place. And then she slipped up and said, quote, "He didn't hurt me." And I told her...
She was a university student. Sorry.
And I told her, quote, "I thought we were talking about the student he kidnapped." And she kind of became really quiet. She said she had to go and left the room. And then a couple hours later, called me and my brother down to talk to us with my dad. My dad said he knows we know and that it was a horrible thing to do and he regrets it and he was forgiven, but didn't say much otherwise. I asked them what happened. And my brother told me he didn't want to talk about this, and long story short, this is what went down. She was a student at a university an hour and a half walk away from her home, but she usually stayed in the dorms. Their university had stuff like curfews for women and strict rules, and she was pretty sheltered in other ways, even though she was a legal adult. She was going home for the holidays and it was raining. My dad came up to her and struck up a conversation and offered her a ride home on his motorcycle. He was wearing his school uniform and he looked pretty harmless, so she thought it was safe. But he took her to his house instead. He wouldn't let her leave and she didn't know how to get home. My dad didn't hurt her or threaten her, but he might have done stuff that scared her. And when the maid came, she saw an opportunity and escaped. And then my dad was arrested, but he got slapped with a few months of juvie, but a clean adult record, which is how he was able to come to the US. She visited him to figure out why he would do this, and then stuff happened. I kept asking my dad why he would do this, but he just being stupid and selfish and didn't realize that it was scary to her. My mom said what's done is done and that they got over it, and now my mom and dad are in love and happy, and that we could go to individual therapy to deal with it further if we wanted. My brother said it didn't matter anymore, and he wishes we didn't know it all. I can't look at my parents the same way again. And honestly, I agree with my brother. I regret talking with my cousins, and I think my estranged family have a right to avoid my family for what my dad did.
This is so weird. It feels like Stockholm Syndrome almost.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I know.
We don't have enough detail here.
I'm not a psychologist. I don't know, like Stockholm Syndrome is so complex. And it doesn't sound like she was kept very long.
Yeah.
So can it develop over that period of time?
I don't know.
I mean, traumatic situation. So maybe trauma bond. I mean.
Yeah, there's so many
it's
things.
Insane.
Or maybe they literally just vibed. And she was just like, yeah, I don't know. I actually kind of like this guy. I don't know.
Well, it's like that movie that everyone talks about on Netflix right now, like 360 or whatever it is. Like the mafia boss kidnaps the lady and they have nonstop sex.
What?
I mean,
oh, yeah.
Like,
365 or whatever.
Whatever that is.
Yes, that is a good comparison.
Yeah, like this is.
And then they end up getting married.
And this
Sorry,
is.
spoiler
No,
alert.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I haven't finished. I don't know a lot about it. So
Yeah.
I don't, whatever for me. But I think this is, you see storylines play out like this in those dark romance novels.
Yeah.
And so that taboo, like, she was into it clearly.
Yeah, like even 50 Shades of Grey, I feel like there was instances where he kind of held her captive.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Anastasia got a little brainwashed.
Yeah. So like people, that movie was not well received because of the moments where it's like, wait, Mr. Grey's like asserting a little bit too much dominance to the point where it's like against her will.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like we are just, it's confusing. We can see why the children feel confused and conflicted. Like, is this marriage and love real? Is she just trauma bonded to him? Or what happened? What happened in that captivity? I don't know.
I don't know either. Fun fact for everyone. Did you know 50 Shades of Grey was written to be a Twilight fanfic?
I think I did know that.
Wild. Here's where I'm going to go a little off the deep end.
Okay. You're just going to let your imagination just full send.
And I don't know if this is because I feel like I just think about things differently. I kind of like shut down emotionally sometimes. And I don't think I would let this shape the way I look at my parents.
Okay, I was thinking the same thing.
As weird as that might sound, I'd be over it.
Same.
It happened 40 years ago. It hasn't affected me.
Right.
And I'm like, my parents love each other.
Right.
They moved, they got away from their family. They're healthy. They have a healthy relationship. It's not an abusive relationship. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he was a teenager. Like, was he 16? Was he 17?
Right.
Like, and that's not an excuse. Like, this is still kidnapping. It's still wrong. But you're so far removed from it where I'm like, I don't think I would let it bother me.
I was thinking the same thing.
So fucked up.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you know what? I'm not that bothered. I don't know.
Fucked
up for sure. I think it's because, like you said, it's just so out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't
affect you.
That you can see, at least. It doesn't affect, like, the way I see it is you could have gone 40 more years and died a happy life. And if no one told you about this, would it have changed anything in your life?
No. Nothing. I think it is, of course, easier said than done.
Yes.
And like, you're going to be a little rocked for a little bit. Like, oh God, it's big news.
Picturing your dad doing something like that's really tough.
Yeah, it's jarring for sure. But he didn't murder someone. He didn't rape her. Mm-hmm. I feel so wrong even saying this.
I know. But I'm there with you.
People are going to hate us for this one.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
Really? I don't know. Maybe people might see it that way too.
I don't know. But I look at the history now where they've literally been together. How old are these people?
You make a good point. It's
never
easier
say their
said than
age.
done. Like, maybe if it were us, we would not be able to look at our dad the same and it would really impact the relationship.
Yeah.
So I get that. I'm not denying and trying to be aloof to the situation or insensitive. But I have to be honest. You're kind of speaking what I was thinking is I was like, I don't know how much I'd let this really like rock me.
I think it's something you obviously won't forget. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't let it kind of impact how you view your parents. It's no different than, oh God, what story came up tonight where we were like, oh, the first one I hit you with, tied it all together here. The first one where the guy cheated on his fiance with his sister.
Oh,
and
God,
so the past,
try to block that one out.
The 6 years of their relationship wasn't a total lie.
Yeah.
Like the beginning part was a little, but the good times were real.
The good times were still the good times.
And that's how this one is.
Agreed.
The good times were still the good times. You don't have to forget what your dad did. And if you let that shift your view going forward, that's valid. Your dad did kidnap someone.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do hear the opposition right now. And what they're saying is, how do you know that their dad didn't spend years after the kidnapping grooming this woman, priming this woman?
Yeah.
Maybe their marriage shouldn't have ever even happened. For all you know, she's just operating under like
Stockholm syndrome.
Yes. So like you know what I mean? So I can hear,
because he got what he wanted.
Exactly.
He got what he wanted at that point. So
I can hear how the other side might be up in arms about that.
And that's where we need more details.
That's where we don't know. But from the way it stands, and it sounds like everyone's happy and healthy today. I don't know.
The math ain't adding up.
Math ain't mathin'.
Math ain't mathin'. We need more here.
We need more.
There's some missing y equals mx plus b.
Yeah. We're missing a factor that makes or breaks this.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. I mean, I just don't know what else you do. What do you do? Cut your dad off now? Because it's something he did 40 years ago?
You're cutting both of them off because they're together.
You cut him off now?
That's not worth it. I don't know. I think it's different.
What is the option here?
I don't know.
You live with it, or I think therapy is a great start. I think no matter what, go to therapy.
I love therapy.
Unpack it. Maybe therapy will give them more guidance.
We need a professional here.
Yeah. This calls for therapy. I think that's undoubted here, but I don't know. I mean, what's the option? You can't forgive your dad and therefore you cut off your parents, or you go through therapy and you heal these bad feelings that you might have towards your dad and you live happily ever after and your whole family is happy and healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's the ideal solution in a perfect world.
Yeah. I would love to know the update on
I know
what happens.
Nothing from what I see so far.
What's like a top comment?
Let me go to the update post and see.
I feel like there's more to it. That's because the family seems the family that doesn't want anything to do with the dad seems very upset. So it almost seems like there's something more that maybe we're not getting.
Yeah. So this has flown very under the radar. It was posted 10 days ago. It's from True Off My Chest. Like I said, has only 83 upvotes.
Wow.
So the top comment has only 47 upvotes. This is all very odd. There must be something missing between your mother forgiving him and her family hating him. Holy fuck, are you a psychic?
I don't know. I'm just intuitive tonight.
What is the country in which this happened? My ex-mother-in-law was kidnapped by her chauffeur and kept in the shed for 3 days. No further violence, no sexual advances. Then she married him. Why? To save face. Can't disappear with your chauffeur for 3 days without juicy rumors. This was in the Philippines, in the province, late 70s. Oh yes, someone else goes, oh yes, the save face reason.
What does that mean?
I guess like
they're embarrassed?
In cultures where like if your daughter ran off with a man, she's ruined. Like no one would marry her at that point because everyone assumes. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. So someone comments, oh man, I'm so sorry you had to discover this. I have no clue what I would do if my parent had done something like that. I think there would be a sense of distrust or betrayal. Parents should be safe spaces, somewhere you can go when you need to feel protected, comforted. Learning something like this would forever change my perspective on my parents for the worse. I really hope you can overcome this mental block. There is a response from OP, but I will just say, yeah, it might shift it a little, but if your parents have like fucking fought for you tooth and nail your whole life, like making you a Supergirl costume, like your parents still did that. So that has to hold some weight too. Like I'm thinking about my mom, like if I found out my mom kidnapped someone, my mom has done so much, sacrificed so much to make sure I could go to college, have clothes on my back when my dad lost his company and we lost everything, like food stamps, welfare, like we were on it. Like we almost lost I'm just like, it wouldn't shift my perspective of my mom that much. And maybe that's why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking, because I'm envisioning my parents in this case.
Yeah.
But OP does respond and goes, it feels unreal. Like, this is my dad. He tucked me into bed as a kid and told me how to be safe and drove me home from parties and was literally my rock. And knowing that he's literally capable of kidnapping a woman off the streets is insane to me. And knowing that my mom came up with this BS excuse that he didn't hurt her, so it was fine when she admitted she was terrified because he literally kidnapped her and she had no idea what he was capable of. I don't know. My head's not screwed right now.
Those are all valid points. I think you start to use your imagination and you start to kind of like wonder and think of like the worst case and you start to like get very colorful with it. So I get how that would be really kind of traumatizing. And I can empathize with that. I'm not at all saying like get over it or anything like that. I think no, it's totally
valid trauma.
Yeah. And it is, I'm putting myself in those shoes and I keep trying to picture my dad doing that. And it would definitely shake me because I have such a high standard of my dad. I have such a like positive image of him. He's never done anything malicious to anybody. So then to hear that story would like, it would rock me a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, like, I don't know how much I would let it like bleed into my present dynamic.
Yeah. OP responds so much on this update. Dad was 16 and mom was 20.
Okay.
He lived with his grandpa and my great grandpa, who was always out of the country. His side of the family was very well off. Nobody was home because it was the holidays and the servants also got time off. The maid came in the morning to either pick stuff up or drop off and my mom crawled out of a window.
Wow. It almost sounds like, given this context now, like he was a kid who had never been told no and was used to getting his way. And so when he thought he could just like take this person, like to him it was no different than like taking a ball and like keeping it.
Yeah.
Like he almost objectified this person and was like, I want it, I got it. Like I'm going to go get this person.
Especially if he was well off in a very poor country.
Yeah. And I'm not justifying him, but I'm almost wondering if in his
You're just trying to see.
I'm trying to see it through his, like, what would make this like seemingly good human think that that wasn't okay. And it's not okay. It's so wrong. It's completely wrong. But like, given this background, I'm almost like, oh, is he just someone who thought his way always prevails, and so if he wants something, he's just going to go grab it and doesn't even see it as kidnapping? He's just like, no, this is just me grabbing this person that I want to spend time with at my house.
So that's exactly what I think he thought, because OP does give this comment and says, my dad did kidnap her, even though my mom insists that he didn't hurt her and she was fine. But she admitted she was terrified when she was in his house because she had no idea what he would do to her.
Right.
So he definitely did bad things he regrets, which is the kidnapping. Edit, he wouldn't let her leave. So it almost gives that vibes where like he thought, oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to take her home. I'm going to convince her to hang out with me, and then just like wouldn't let her leave,
Yeah.
which by definition, not letting someone leave is kidnapping.
Yeah.
But I do see that a 16-year-old boy who is so
unsupervised, unregulated, like he's
the
probably,
world is his oyster.
Yeah. So he's like, no, you can't leave. What? My rules, my house.
I know. This is pretty crazy.
But to everyone out there, not shaking your fist, we are not justifying kidnapping.
No, we're just trying to wrap our heads around this in any way possible.
Yeah, this is still kidnapping. The man, we're not like sitting here trying to bail him out. He absolutely was wrong.
Completely agree. There's one more comment from OP that stands out. My parents were always super supportive of me. One time, this boy was making me uncomfortable in middle school, and the teacher told me to ignore him. My dad marched up to the principal and made them move him to a different homeroom. He's always had my back, never judged me for clothes or partying or makeup. My mom knew everything about my boyfriends. They let me live my life. That's what's so hard. If I got kidnapped, they'd go nuclear. But they can justify their own relationship. At least my mom can.
That is a very interesting take.
And maybe they were that hard on that boy because of his history.
Exactly.
And he's like, I did that. I'm not going to let my daughter go through that.
Yeah. Because he feels so much guilt. I don't know. A lot to unpack.
A lot.
We're like,
a lot to unpack.
We're like playing detectives here.
That's
trying
what I
to figure
feel.
out the motive.
I'm just trying to understand it.
Me and Morgan should be tasked to like solve a murder.
I do.
I really genuinely think we would do a really good job.
I think we could do it.
I think so too. If there's one murder I'm trying to solve, it's the JonBenet Ramsey case.
Didn't something come out recently?
I don't know. I'll look.
You would know.
I would know.
You would know. But that's the math. Is the math mathin'?
That's the math.
It ain't mathin'.
Wasn't mathin' for me.